and welcome to Breakfast News. It's me, Rachel Ramsdale, and I bring you an update this morning on our rubber duck scandal. Now, we do have an update. It has nothing to do with the supply chain or the product manufacturer, but it is all to do with a man who calls himself the Rubber Ducky. He has been seen stealing from the local area. But before we carry on with that story, we need to head over to Jeremiah Hazy, our farming expert, who's got a little bit of a situation to tell us about planting this year. So, Jeremiah, please fill us in on the local information.
Oh, hey there, Rachel. Can I just say that this is like a real treat for me. I've never been on TV before. I mean, literally never. I don't even know why you asked me to be your expert, but hey, I do know fields.
Yes, so what about on the ground? What happens there in solid ground?
Oh, right. You're talking about that Jesus guy who came up and he started saying lots of things to lots of people? Yeah, well, I was hearing that he said to this crowd, a farmer, he gets a load of seed, and he throws it around, quite liberally, just spreading it here and spreading it there. And some of it falls on the path. Now, let me tell you, as a farmer my whole life, if you put seeds on a path, it ain't gonna grow. It ain't gonna go anywhere. That is zero in the bank balance come harvest time. You do not want to put seed on the path.
Yes, Jeremiah, that does seem like an ineffective method. What does Jesus have to say about the rocky ground?
Well, if you put on rocky ground, here's what happens, okay? So I'm out in my fields, I'm sowing the seed, right? I'm throwing it out on my soil, and some of it falls in the rocks. What happens with the rocks? It creates very shallow ground. I'm talking there ain't much going on there. And so when the seeds, they start to put their roots out, they shoot up, but they die real quick because they get scorched by that baking hot sun and they can't take in the nutrients from the soil, so they ain't gonna last long either.
Great, thank you. And what did he have to say about ground that is covered in weeds, weedy ground?
This one made me giggle. Why would you ever put your seeds in a place that's already got stuff growing in it? That don't make no sense to Jeremiah Hazy whatsoever. No. If you put your seeds there, what happens is all that soil is already taken up by the weeds. All that sunlight that your plants need, that's already taken up by the weeds. So something's going to grow, sure. A few things might pop up, but eventually what you're going to find is that those things just going to die. They're going to be choked away.
Jeremiah, you did mention earlier that Jesus has some hope in this situation about good soil. What does using good soil mean?
You see, this is where I thought the man was talking some sense. Because, see, when Jesus starts speaking, I think to myself, well, hang on a minute, this guy don't look like no farmer. He looks like a fisherman to me. Now, you asking a farmer what he does? Well, I'll tell you, I plow my fields good. I make that soil rich and yummy and ready for some seeds. And when I plant those seeds, I know that nothing is going to get in the way of them getting the best nutrients, the best sunlight, the best water that they can possibly get. And so I know that my seed, it going to grow.
So thanks very much for that story, but is this about sowing seeds at all? What does all of this even mean, Jeremiah?
Well, that is a great question, Rachel, let me tell you. Now, this man, I quickly realized, was not talking about farming. This man's a fisherman. I know my farming, but he is speaking my language. And he was basically comparing the different types of soil to the state of the human heart. That if your seed, if it lands on the path there, that ain't going to grow. And that's like a hard heart. Nothing's going to grow in there. Nothing good anyway. And then you got the shallow soil. That's like the shallow heart. Okay? So if something's going to grow there, it ain't going to grow very well. Then you got the weedy heart. Now that's the heart that's like full of loads of different stuff, all right? And I'm thinking to myself, well, I wouldn't want any of those things to be the state of my heart. And then he's talking about the good heart, the good soil. And that's when I'm thinking to myself, okay? I'm thinking, this is what I want my heart to be like. I want my heart to be good soil where the Word of God, the seed of God can be planted in my heart and I can know God and know love and be able to love other people better. And that's what I want for the state of my heart, just as I want it for the state of my fields. I hope that's been very helpful there, Rachel. Until next time.
Thank you, Jeremiah, for that exciting story to share with us today. Now we're going to head back to our news, but not before pausing to visit our sporting expert, Professor Klaus. Professor Klaus, what have you got for us today?
Kick the ball!
Okay, thanks, Professor Klaus. Yet again, this has been Rachel Ramsdale for your breakfast news. Goodbye.